Derrick Rose is one of the most beloved players in NBA history, but the city of Chicago holds a deep, profound love for Derrick Rose. So much so that even though he hasn't played for the Bulls in over a decade, he still gets MVP chance whenever he plays in Chicago. There are many things hard to come by in the city, but love is definitely at the top of the list. So why is Derrick Rose so loved in Chicago? It's no secret that that's where he's from, but I think a lot of people forget just how highly touted Derrick Rose was coming out of high school. I mean, I don't even know how legal this is, but reportedly he was being scouted as early as 6th grade, which seems kind of normal now with how the media was scouting Bronny James and Bryce Maximus, but we're talking about in the early 2000s. And while in high school playing for one of the top schools in the country at that time, Simeon Career Academy, he became a hometown hero. And being a former Simeon student myself, I know that the love is for more than just his skill on the basketball court. Being from Inglewood, Derrick Rose grew up in one of the worst neighborhoods in Chicago, and definitely an area where it would be considerably harder than anywhere else to concentrate on sports and stay out of drama. Famously due to the help of his brothers, Derrick Rose was able to focus on school despite his rough environment and was able to thrive and flourish at Simeon, getting the eyes of the media all around the country on him. Growing up in a rough area, everybody has hoop dreams at some point, but seeing Derrick Rose, a guy that made it from one of the roughest areas in the city, it's like everyone was pushing for him to succeed. And then the 2008 draft happens. The Chicago Bulls have been mediocre since the departure of Michael Jordan in the late 90s. My father, being a Chicago Bulls fan since the 70s, once remarked to me that he remembered the days where you could go to a Bulls game and sit in the front row and have some room to stretch out. And in 2008, it was no secret to everybody that Derrick Rose was going #1 in that draft. But where would he play? What are the odds that a guy who was already a hometown hero in high school ends up getting drafted to play for his hometown? I'll tell you the odds. 1.7%. Adam Silver picked up that card and turned it over to reveal that the Chicago Bulls, with 1.7%, had got the #1 pick, which of course they immediately selected Derrick Rose, who turned the team around right away. I mean, I lived in Chicago and I hadn't heard anything about the Chicago Bulls until Derrick Rose got drafted. And just 3 years after being drafted, he would become the youngest MVP in NBA history. On his way, and especially after becoming the 2011 MVP, it seemed like Derrick Rose was unstoppable. At only 22 years old, he was completely unguardable. And one of the proudest moments in Chicago basketball of the 21st century, the Bulls made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, I know, but you have to understand, we hadn't been there for a long time. The Bulls barely even saw the playoffs until we finally made it back, and then kept getting destroyed by the Celtics. And then D Rose took us there. To this day, that is the closest the Chicago Bulls have been to an NBA Finals since 1998. And the fact that it hasn't happened again since LeBron was 26 years old. LeBron's oldest son is almost 20. And it's crazy to think that he's only improved his basketball IQ. The man is as pure a point guard as you could ask for, even when he was hurt while he was recovering. The people in Chicago were honestly just happy that Derrick Rose was able to sit at home and collect that $200 million check. Speaking of sitting at home and collecting money, I started a stand store and we even wrote a couple ebooks about making money online. I noticed that everybody wants to do it, and honestly, if you're somebody that knows how, it's pretty selfish to not help other people out. In my store, I have ebooks explaining things like master resale rights, courses that show you how to do business online, also shows you how to sell the rights to these courses so that you too can help people make money online. If you're interested or just lazy like me and prefer to sit in front of the computer all day, I have a link in my description. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Until next time.